Well, hello everybody, working on Robert's train set again. It's a bit hectic at the moment doing these videos. Sometimes it's difficult as a YouTuber to decide what you're going to film. I'm sure we've all had that problem. But at the moment I've got videos coming from every which way. And I did this one. It's a bit out of sequence. I'm filming it before my last one went up, which was another parcel from Wales of Sheffield, which I hope you enjoyed. And in that I did say, this is it, I'm not going to spend any more money. Well, you can say things like that, but it doesn't always work, does it? So what's this all about? Well, as you've seen in the thumbnail and the title, I bought a model train at a museum. And you might be a bit confused by that. I mean, they don't usually sell off things, do they, at a museum? So a little bit of explanation and I'll show you what I bought. But first of all, I've joined the mud brigade. So rather than having the owl for the intelligence, I still need it, but I've got this now. And the reason I never actually ever did this was I couldn't be bothered to find a supplier and send off and wait for it to come and all this. This was done in my local shopping street, the high street, where I live, for a reasonable £7. And I thought, that's great. Now, yes, you might say that it's a bit crooked, and yeah, I pointed it out to the lady that did it. But I've got another two coming, hopefully they'll be square. But I don't mind, you know. Sometimes rejects are worth a lot of money, aren't they? So in 80 years' time, that might be worth a bit of money. We'll see. But yeah, I'm quite happy to have this. And what's good about it is I can use my dispenser with it, and it's big enough to take the amount that it sends out. I had quite a bit of interest on the set that I bought. And there's one part of it. It's empty. And there's the other part of it. I will put a few photos of the ends of what they are. But as you can see, it's quite a nice box. I'm thinking how old this might be. They're in pretty good nick, these boxes. Absolutely. Now, let's get the first bit over, and there we are. That's the power car, and it's down here because I need to put a decoder in it, which I'm awaiting from Hattons. I've ordered one of their Hattons plain decoders. I'm not having a sound one in this at this stage. To all intents and purposes, this model is absolutely mint. There doesn't seem to be any wear at all on the wheels. If I hold it there, I don't know whether it will focus, but excuse me, but you can see, I think that is, you know, that is how it came out of the box. And they're usually slightly discoloured, aren't they, where they've been sitting around for a long time. Now you might wonder where the rest of the carriages to make up the train are. They're up on the layout, because what I wanted to do was to check that all the lights work. So all the individual table lamps are supposed to light up, and they do. And I ran it around the layout in the being pulled by a class 47 Hornby loco. So very appropriate, I thought. A bit more tea. So let's explain. As you might know, as you've seen the video, I went to the Great Electric Train Show on Saturday the 8th, wasn't it? Which was a great show, and I quite enjoyed. And you know, the video is not doing too bad considering that I had camera woes, if you remember. And the only thing I bought there were these Hunt couplings, which I will do a piece on. I think comparing them with all the other couplings that I do have on the layout. So that's to come. So there's one video. And why did I buy this set at a museum? Well, it's this one. I'm hoping that will focus and you'll be able to read it. I'll check the video back afterwards and have a look. And if you remember, about a year ago I went and did quite a long video on this, which I was very pleased with, and you know, it's got a few views, shall we say, after a year. Not many, not like the big channels, but you know, for me, okay. And I thought I'd go to this the Sunday after Gets. I didn't quite know how I was going to be feeling after Gets. It's a lot of walking, and a lot of that as well, a lot of talking, as you saw in the thing. And while we're on the Gets one, I forgot this. Kev from Medway Peninsula Railway, instead of a card, he gave me this nice coaster, so I could use my new mug on my new coaster, couldn't I? So that's what I'm going to do. We'll put that into storage and we'll use that one, because they're made to be used, I would have said. Yeah, so I went here, and it was basically the same event that I filmed last year, for the first one, and of course I did go back a week later last year to it. And the uniqueness of this is that you have full-size trains, and this year it was a different steam loco. It was a saddle tank, and interestingly, it wasn't nice, comfortable Mark 1 carriages this time that we travelled in. It was coal wagons. They were clean, but it was an experience. So watch my video that will come up after this one on that visit. But yes, so I went here, and they do model railways as well. Quite a few layouts for, you know, limited space. And in fact, I missed a couple. I did get a bit, but there's two sort of areas where the model railways are. And they do have trade stands, not quite as many as Gets. But the thing with them is you can get at them, you can have a good look, and they were sitting together. And I thought, I really, really want some Pullman cars, and bearing in mind I've already got 12 of them, haven't I, including really old short ones. But I really wanted some with lights in, because they look so magical, don't they? Really good. And that's what these have got. And it was sitting there, and I thought, and it had a price on it of £225 for the two, which I don't think, you know, I think is reasonable, I would say. Anyway, I had a chat with the dealer. It was a very nice chap. I asked him about it, and he said, well, I've taken it out and I've checked the lights, and I think he'd run the power car on DC and said it all worked. So we agreed a price at 200. So the only fly in the ointment was he'd prefer to have cash, because they're in a shed, you know, they haven't got all the technology to connect up whatever, which I can understand. Unfortunately, I only had 100 with me. So, to cut a long story short, I spent an hour trying to find a cash machine in an area I don't know, but I did eventually find one. Good old Sainsbury's in Helsted, and they had a cash machine, and I did find a petrol garage that had a cash machine, and it was free, and I tried it, and I tried it, and I tried it, and every time I said I wanted a receipt, it said, we will contact your bank, and then gave me my card back. So that didn't work. I did that 3 times, so I gave up on that. But I got back, and he kept it for me, and yeah, I bought it. And I think I'd like any of you that really know about these to say, yeah, that wasn't a bad deal, or have I paid too much? By the prices on the box, on the boxes, and the 3 carriages have a price on it of £159.99, and the power car has a price of £174.99. And bearing in mind, I think these are as new as they could be. You know, I've saved quite a bit of money, haven't I? So I'm quite pleased with that. And looking on the computer, yeah, they do seem to go for a reasonably good price. And I have had a bit of interest from my subscribers, you know, saying, oh, you know, we want to see it. So that's why I'm doing this now, before the East Anglian Railway Museum video goes up. So So a bit more tea. So as you might notice, this has got the alternative Hornby couplings on it. And unlike my Bachmann one that I bought, if you remember, in the town for £100, this isn't electrically connected. Each coach has its own pickups to power the lights, and that for me is great. I can take it off the layout easily without, and recouple it and whatever without any issues, which isn't the case with the Bachmann, which is why I leave it on all the time. And we've got the detail pack, which whether I'll fit any of it, I don't know, probably get in the way. I've even got all the standard couplings out the carriages, so you know, a nice layout, or rather a nice set of trains, and that's all that you get with the box. But that's all you really need, isn't it? And I went online to get the decoder, and it looks straightforward. Just clips holding the body on, and hopefully when the decoder comes, whenever that might be, I can run it. But I haven't actually put this on the track. I'm a bit dubious, you know, putting it on a DC track when it's a DC locomotive. Oh, nice. So there we are. So I think enough waffling from me down here. I hope you're going to enjoy seeing it run, and me as well. And I'll see you next up in the loft. Okay, everybody? Cheers. Bye. Won't be a minute. But just before we go to the loft, I just thought you'd like a few close-ups of what we've got. And it's a nice train. Yeah, and to be honest, the detail isn't too bad. I mean, when you look in the windows, you know, it's pretty good, isn't it? You know, for quite an old model, perhaps. This is where the driver gets in. I think I'd have a bit of trouble getting in there. At the end of the carriages, they haven't actually got any door. It's open right up to the panel there, the bulkhead. This is the business end with all the wheels and everything. So that's the main pack with the power car in and the trailing car. And there are the three carriages to go with it, which are very nice. And this is what's on the back of the power car box. Looks okay. You might be able to read it if you freeze it. So here's the first view of the whole train. Well, almost. Didn't quite get it all into shot. And this is the second time I did it because I ran past. But yeah, it looks good. So we'll have a little sort of a close-up along it. And I think I did have my movie camera on doing this as well. The light in it. Quite close, isn't it? The coupling, they work quite well. Those on this, the Hornby couplings, alternative couplings work well. So yeah, I've left them on and they seem to work. So when we've looked all the way down this line, we'll have a look at putting the decoder in. So it came in this box, a bit silly, and yeah, normal stuff, bubble wrap and whatever. And in a sec you'll see that's all that was in there, that and that. It's crazy, isn't it? Anyway, so cutting a long story, I've had a bit of a problem with this, as I've said, and I put the decoder in, and you'll see that in a minute. And because it's wrapped in the black tape, it's too big really to go in where the 8-pin socket is. So the problem I have when I put it on the track, when I try and start up the DR5000, it fuses. As soon as you start it, it fuses out. And the only way to get it up is to take the power car off. And then if you put the power car on with the power on, it's fine, it runs. So I don't quite get it.
So as you can see with these pictures that I'm doing, the whole, when you take the body off, the whole thing sort of falls apart. But it went in now. I think I'm about to show you. So that's where the blanking plate was, and you can see it's sort of in a little room really. And there it is. But when you try and put in the decoder, it's too tight against the right hand wall. So in the end I cut the wall away. Because I thought that might be the problem, but it isn't, so I don't know. So what I'm doing here is, the Brighton Belle used to go through a lot of the stations because it used to go from London to Brighton in one go, didn't it? So I've just shown various speeds. So the last one was 30, this is 60, next one is 70, and the final one is 90 miles an hour, which I'm not sure it ever did, but there we are. So obviously it won't go that sort of speed when it's on control of iTrains, which is what it is now. So have a look at some of the running shots I've done, hopefully. Hope you like it. Plus the large prairie to hog the view, but there we are, that was running at the same time. So I had a few extra trains on. So I just sort of take that and you can see them running under control. It worked quite well. So I hope you like this as well. The only one with sound is the large prairie, because obviously most of them don't have sound. Although the Italian 646 does, but I haven't got it on. So for those of you that have never seen the Italian 646, it does actually bend in the middle, this locomotive. It's from 1954 variety, and it must have been one of the first things to sort of do this, so it's quite different.
Well everybody, as you can see, I'm quite happy with my Brighton Belle, and it's running lovely, except for the problems that I've told you about already. I'm hoping I can sort it. If not, it will just be a case of having to do a sequence when I want to use it. But it runs well, and I'm pleased with it. And as you can see, we've got all our other trains running a bit. And the idea of this little bit here was to have all electric trains running. So the one here is electric. Obviously the Brighton Belle is electric. The 411 was electric, as was the 395. But I didn't have another electric, so I thought we'd show the new carriage. So, and this time with the large prairie, which I think is quite nice, and that's the only one with any sound on. But the only other locomotive or train on this layout that has sound is the 646 Italian. And really that should be put in carriages, because there was another variant that was for freight and had lower gearing. But considering that the locomotive is HO scale and the wagons it's pulling are O gauge, double O gauge, it doesn't look too bad, does it? You know? And the cargo wagon ones, I've got 10 of those, but I could only get the 4 on to get it into this siding or into this block. So I just gave the little goods wagon there to give it a little bit more length. It's worked really well. The next one should be whatever I decide to do first. I've got quite a few videos lining up, haven't I? So we'll see. I do thank you for the new subscribers that have come on, and your old ones that are following me, not old in age but old in time watching me, I really do appreciate that you stay with me. So great everybody. By the time you see this, hopefully my house will be back in normal fettle with a new boiler system. That's what I'm hoping. Bearing in mind I'm filming this about 4 days before it all starts and mayhem. And for the next 4 days I've got to start clearing decks so that they can get at what they've got to do. The next job is to get all these locos and moulding stock that I can off the layout. I think they'll be far safer downstairs, I think. What's going to go on. Cheers and see you in the next one. Bye.